Oh yeah. It begins. We got Midna. So Midna is going to be our helper here within the Twilight Realm and within Twilight Princess. So she's got some attitude issues. But we are stuck as a dog or a wolf. So we kind of just got to deal with it. Perfect. We are now good to go. Alright guys, welcome back to another round of Cyborg Gaming. We are now the doggy. So you can come over here and dig your way out. So at the end of my last video I did kind of skip the cutscene on accident. Basically we got taken by some of the Twilight enemies and taken into this little dungeon and into the sewer, which we now have Midna and are in wolf form, and we are going to get out of here. So do exactly what she says. Very important. Alright, let's get moving. I agree. We have been in cutscenes for most of this beginning of the game. In some of them, like I've mentioned, is important. Some of them, not so much. So press L and then press A, and that will open that up. So we're going to be doing that a lot. You're going to Z target a lot, you're going to press L a lot, and do some of the different jumpings. So come over here. And so basically, they're in a different realm kind of than we are. So you're going to use your senses by pressing X. And he doesn't know what's going on, obviously. At this point in the game, you probably don't know what's quite going on either. So, yes, I get that. We need to use our senses. Very important. So you can just kind of dash right across here. So, L and A. There we go. Get out of here. Oh, wrong way. Okay. Go. Come. Was it this way? Yep, there we go. The vision, like the visuals on my screen are actually worse than in the recording, so I'll probably need to adjust that. It's kind of hard to see, like I couldn't even see the lift there, so it's not bothered that. What we want to do is now come over here. You can see here, another soldier that's having a bad time. You don't really need to talk to them. I prefer not to, personally. So let's go over here. And basically this is your goal. Just find as many of these little things as possible. Go. That's fine. Nope. Ooh. Nope. Okay. Perfect. So let's get that open. Now we can go back down without any issue. Let's get you taken out. You're annoying. Get up, please. There we go. Go. And I don't need to bother with you. I can go through. Let's see if this is the one I've been thinking about. It is. Oh, nope, never mind. Okay. So, you can see I don't remember the sewers too well. I do know where we need to, like, on that side, though. That is important. No, come on. Let's go this way. No, okay. There we go. So basically what we're going to do is kind of a grand exit, making some crazy jumps to get out of here. There we go. And then we're going to go visit Zelda. A little bit of a spoiler. Apologies. So we're going to go up here and just pace yourself on the jumping. Like, some of it's going to be quick, some of it's going to be fast. You just need to make sure you got the balance and the jump correctly, or else you're going to have a hard time and you're going to have to start all the way over. It can be kind of annoying. So here, I guess technically you do have to fail the jump, which is obnoxious. Always try to get that to stop happening, but I think that's the way they coded it. So now we're going to have her move off to the next one, and we're going to jump to her. Go, and you can kind of hear it crashing down. So that's basically how it's going to work. So you can just dash across these little ones, but some of these you're going to have to press, you know, just hold L and double tap A, basically. Oh, I'm actually almost dead. There we go. I have not been paying attention to my health at all. So here, we're going to tightrope across. So you're a dog, you're a wolf, pretty easy. I kind of use those terms interchangeably here. There we go. And same thing, we're going to work our way up. So let's hope I don't get hit. Go, perfect. And now I need to get her to go up top. So let's go this way. And there's actually going to be some harder enemies as we're going to go out. Just hold L and just tap A. So hopefully you got a good enough controller that can keep up there. Some of my GameCube controllers at this point are like, I don't know, 20 years old. So the A button on some of them are getting pretty worn out. Making those jumps can be kind of difficult. So you can see this is like Hyrule Castle at this point. There is a lot, you know, some of the big enemies are out here. We're going to have a better visual of Hyrule Castle going forward. This is kind of just the top of the tower. You can see I still only have one heart, so that's just going to be obnoxious. So let's see if these big guys come out and try to attack us soon. So, same thing, we're going to run into one of the kind of the Twilight warriors. Yep, that's the birds, the Hyrule Castle. So, important, but, you know, you don't really have to know anything about that. So I'm going to push this forward. Get on, get on. Come through here. I think this is where our first one's going to be. Yep. Go. Give a good headshot. Another headshot. Yes, that's exactly what I needed. Nice, it does the little dash for me. Please move. Please move. So let's draw him over here and give him a good attack. Basically all I want to do is not fall off the ledge and make sure I keep my little bit of health that I have. I actually tend to find the Zeldas at the beginning of the game a little bit harder just because of the little bit of health. Especially I'm a pretty aggro player for pretty much every game that I play. Come on, let's just go. I tend to not watch my health too much. Woo! So we're going to work our way up instead of down. And we're going to meet an old friend. So this one I am not going to skip. And you can notice she is not a ghost. Gotta build up the suspense, of course, though. So let's see that hoodie come off. Very dismissive. Very, very dismissive. Link's on, you know, he's a special dude and a special doggy. So obviously there's some sarcasm in calling her the Twilight Princess. Midna's pretty sour about the whole situation throughout this game, and we'll kind of figure out obviously a little bit more as we go through that. The king that rules Twilight, obviously that is Ganondorf. And how it's been turned into the world of shadows, ruled by creatures who shun the light. So like these are some of the cutscenes I'd prefer not to skip. I kind of messed up with the first one and turning into a dog, but basically this is kind of the final stand that occurred at Hyrule Castle, trying to protect Zelda, and basically the fight with Ganondorf. And you can see basically they just got overrun. They didn't have it really much of a chance. So now our job is to kind of go and set things back to normal. So I think in most people's circumstance, they'd probably make that same decision. But we do have two basically large boss fights that we are going to have to take on in this game. And if you kind of haven't gotten the context, obviously we're going to be going through both realms with, you know, kind of regular human Link and then into the Twilight with the wolf. And there is your first full look at the amazing Zelda. Kind of wish you could change her name too, just for the fun of it. I think there'd be some interesting stuff we could do with that. Okay, so kind of a long cutscene. Obviously, though, important to see Zelda for the first time, to see Hyrule Castle, and to get the context there. on really what is going on. See if I can even get to her to say hi. Yep, let's get out of here. So she got a bunk bed or something. That's pretty nice. But yeah, pretty much stuck here within the castle. Well, everybody else is basically just the spirit, not knowing what the heck is going on. So we need to bring them out of the spirit world and into the light. Let's get up top, where we came out, or where we came in, which is probably where we want to go out. Okay, I'm going to skip the rest of this, so we can kind of keep going across the game. That's a long one just because of some of the cutscenes. As I've kind of mentioned, we're still basically in the tutorial. So we are going to go get some items. Okay. And obviously we won't have this much kind of stoppage and startage once we get like out of kind of even the first temple. Things will start getting better. So right now, like she mentioned, we need to go get a sword and we need to go get a shield. So I'll show you guys how to do that and take out an enemy along the way. Okay, so you don't have to take these guys out, but let's just come on, dude. You might as well get used to fighting as a dog. You're gonna have to do it a decent amount, especially at the beginning. So this is where I mentioned earlier, I think in my end of my last video, is that we can start talking to the animals now. When we're in dog mode, wolf mode, we can talk to, I think, pretty much every animal within the game. So they'll give you some tips here and there. So right now, though, is basically we're going to go stealth mode. We need to break into a couple houses without getting caught. You can see him up there with his little hawk. So we're going to need to be careful. And I'm not sure if you could see, but let me go over to this windmill here. You can see up top there, there is a little crevice to get in. So, can't go find a couple more people. So, we need to actually overhear them first before we can actually get started. So, apologies there, so let's go find them really quick. So, we should find... Yep, right there. So we need to get closer. So you see the tree right there? You want to be all sleeky. They don't see a giant wolf walking through like 2 feet away. But once you get close enough, and I recommend using this tree. You should be able to... Okay. Nice shield, storage loft, grab it as quick as you can. The sword is over at the mayor and he still got hurt, and if you're unarmed you're done for. Okay, so we got our information, now we can actually go do something. Perfect, now we got Midna. And you can see the top that I already kind of pointed out. Just kind of got a little... off to a little bit of a fast start there. We got to slow down a little bit. So, let's go here. Yeah, so he's not happy. He doesn't want us here. Here comes the hawk. So what I'm going to do is try to sneak up behind him and essentially scare him. Like, I don't want to hurt him, but I need him to not be shooting hawks at me left and right. So there's the kitty. I like kitty, so I want to say hi. You're no match for him. Yeah, I know. Yep, scare him from behind. And this is what I was looking at earlier, so at least I still got that memory correct. There we go. Perfect. We're about to get halfway done. So all we're gonna do is basically come up here go in here, and we should be able to knock, I believe it's the shield, right off of the wall. So let's go up here. Go right there. And we're obviously, that is also our exit. Come on, dude. There we go. There we go. A couple hits, and we got our shield. So now we can make our little grand exit right through the window. And you guys just see it. Yep, you're going to put it right on his back, even though we aren't going to use it just yet. We'll be using it soon. We're going to obviously back at human form. So our next one is we're going to use our senses. So now he's going out. I placed the sword. That was our gift. Blah, blah, blah. You know, be safe. So we now know where to go. So we want to just be careful. So now pull out your sense. Take a couple around. Get my C buttons reversed a little bit. Go. Hi, Mr. Chicken. Let's dig right through. I'm not going to talk to you this time. And now we should have our sword. So there we go. Pick it up. Perfect. So now we can get out of here. So now you have a sword. Looks like it can actually be useful. Concentrate. Alright, no more detours. I'm going to take you back into Twilight. In the woods where you first got the transformation. So that is where basically we've been taking care of Epona the whole time. So let's just get back to the woods and back to that little basically that little pond thing. Alright, let's get out of here. So I'm just gonna sprint through. There we go. I'm trying to avoid any confrontation. And luckily the wolf is pretty fast, so we can kind of rush through that. So, not even going to take on the enemies. It's not worth it. So, this will be basically the end of this video. Let me get through to the next part. We have a little bit more going on right here. So, to the spring, which is exactly where I was going. Come to me. Very happily. So these guys are something we're going to be needing to take out throughout the game. If you know what you're doing, they're not too bad, but there can be a little bit of a puzzle element to them, and I'll explain that in a bit. So right now we just got to take out one. So when you got to take out two of them or more, you have to take them out at the same time or they will revive. So one, not much of a problem. Two, you gotta kill them at the same time, and at that situation we use like Midna and a certain type of attack to do so. Aw, doggy, you're so cool. Alright, let that light up. And this is also a pretty important aspect of this game, so I'll take this part a little bit slow. For one of the 4 light spirits that can protect Hyrule, behest of the goods. I am Ordana. So that is obviously where the name of the village and stuff comes from. The black beast that you slayed was a shadow being. I had come to seize the power of light. I yield. So there's going to be little bugs around the map for a bit. We need to go collect those and bring them back. So they had their light stolen by these beasts. And that's basically what we're going to go and like undo. And I just love the kind of dark atmosphere of like Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess. There's only so many games that kind of capture it in the same way that Zelda does. The blight will not stop with Hyrule before long. The entire world of light will fall into the hands of the king who rules with the Twilight. Rules the Twilight. Three light spirits who have lost their light must be revived. Yep, let's get on that. There is but one that can revive them and redeem this land. Of course, it is me, the great cyborg. Still have not discovered your true power. Come on, let's get going though. Those transformed by Twilight usually cannot recover their original forms. Luckily, we can. Return to Faron Woods, where you were first transformed. You were to revive the light spirit. The power of the light spirit, you may find the means to regain the state of being. So let's get over there, and then that will be the end of this video. So from what I remember, there's basically going to be a giant black wall we're going to need to cross into. So we can kind of dash out of here, go off to the left, come all the way down here. And before going in there though, I am going to stop this video here. Dang it, I went a little too far. Okay, so let's get across here. Ah, perfect. I'll stop it here. Alright guys, so we went through basically the first kind of tutorial with Wolf Link here in Twilight Princess. There's a lot of cutscenes and a lot of context for the story though. Obviously we'll be going into the Twilight little area next. So I hope you guys found that video helpful. Catch you on the next one.